So I wanted to share with you all something that is a breakthrough that I just had, or an awareness that I just had as a result of doing EFT, which is tapping. I'm Bambi Thompson. I'm a brain coach for anxiety transformation and success acceleration, and I teach you how to leverage neuroscience, mindset, the human energy body, and the law of attraction so that you can achieve your goals and create your life with more vibrant, sassy success. And so EFT is one of the modalities that I use to create an energetic shift when we're blocked up and stuck. And the process that I just walked myself through, and I'm going to share it with you because I think it would be helpful for some of you who are procrastinators and don't do the activity that you know you're supposed to do. So I'm hoping that this video will help you with that. So basically, you get a vision of what it is you want for your business or your life. And in this case, what I was working on today, it was having a booked calendar for both of my businesses because I have two businesses. And I wanted to, the vision is that I'm committing to the activity that will generate a booked calendar. And I had been like knowing exactly what to do. And I was just like dragging my feet and not, having the conversations and doing the reach outs. And it was like, what the fuck? Why am I not doing this? Like, I love what I do. What's the deal here? So I came up with the awareness of what is the non-alignment. Like I got into my body, I sunk into my heart, and I actually learned this from a dear friend who's a coach, and she's also an EFT coach, business coach, Allison Scammell. It's to get into your heart and ask for the non-alignment to show up. So it's like, even if you don't know, you can still tap. You can tap, using the phrase, I don't know. But so ask the non-alignment to show up and express itself. And what I came up with was, okay, if I have a full calendar, then I'm going to lose my freedom, my time freedom. And the danger is that, so that's one thing to tap away. But the second thing that was the bigger thing was that I will have complainers come into my businesses, and that's going to bring negativity into my life, and I'm going to lose control over my ability to stay in my mojo and be focused on the positive, because that's how I create, manifest, feel powerful, avoid stress and overwhelm, right? Is staying in the positive. So if I attract negative people, complainers into my business, that's going to blow my mojo, right? So obviously, why would I take action to attract complainers in? So listen, stay tuned here, because there was a really interesting revelation that came after I did some tapping. So first you ask the non-alignment to show up, and then you write down what's the emotion that thought or those thoughts trigger. And for me, it was dread. It was fear. It was loss of control. It was exhaustion, just feeling this like, ugh, in my gut, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have complainers in my life. So then the third thing is, how do those emotions impact what you do? How does it impact your activity? Well, obviously for me, it's like, I avoid it. I procrastinate on it. I don't do it. And then the final thing is, how does that thought or emotion impact how you show up? How do you be? Bottom line, when I don't do what I know I need to do to build my business, I feel like shit at the end of the day. I'm more exhausted by inactivity, and you all are that are listening. We are more exhausted by the avoidance of what we need to do to build our businesses or achieve a goal in our life, if you're not an entrepreneur, than we are by doing the activity that would make us really busy during the day, the productive activity. At the end of the day, when you've been productively active, you're energized, you're up, you feel accomplished, you feel good. At the end of the day, when you've fiddle-diddled around and farted your day away doing this, that, and the other thing that's all the admin around the actual income-producing activity, or you farted your day around doing, moving this, cleaning the toilet, doing the fridge instead of going to work out, right? You feel like shit at the end of the day. You're exhausted. The heaviness of the burden of the shame and the guilt and all of that stuff is heavier than the actual fatigue or outflow of energy towards something that's productive and moving you forward. So I felt, obviously for me, I feel tired. I feel full of shame. I disappoint myself, blah, blah, blah. All right. So then you do a setup statement for tapping, and you basically say, even though I'm afraid I'm going to attract complainers into my life, you do a setup statement, even though I'm afraid I'm going to attract complainers into my life, I totally accept where I am right now and how I feel right now. Even though I'm afraid I'm going to attract complainers and they're going to make me feel, negative, or they're going to draw me into the negative vortex, I completely accept myself. I forgive myself and I love myself that I feel that way in this moment. Even though I'm afraid I'm going to attract negative complainers, right? You do your setup statement 3 times. Then you go on to the tapping points. And so you just say, I'm afraid I'm going to attract complainers. I'm afraid I'm going to attract complainers that'll bring negativity into my life. I'm afraid that negativity is going to drain my mojo. I'm afraid that I'll get sick because of the negativity I have to deal with. I'm afraid that I will be distracted and it'll impact my joy about my business. I'm afraid that if I lose my joy in my business, then I won't be building my business. I'm afraid that these complainers are going to sabotage everything that I value, which is positivity and joy and fun. I'm afraid that I'm going to attract complainers, right? So you just kind of state, you talk about what you do, that whole thing of what the thought is. And then what's the emotion? I feel all of this dread, feel all of this exhaustion, feel all this fear, all of this avoidance, all of this dread about these people that might come into my life. Oh, the heaviness, the dread. And then you can start talking about, where does it hang out in your body? For me, it was in my throat and in my solar plexus, all of this dread in my solar plexus. I feel this like, ugh, in my solar plexus. I feel this, ugh, around my heart. I feel this, ugh, in my throat. I feel like I want to puke. I feel this tightness in my throat. All of this ickiness, right? Tapping just what you feel. And then it makes me not do what I want to do. It makes me not take the action. I feel bad at the end of the day. I don't take the action. And so you tap, right, through the feelings that you have. Where is it hanging out in your body? How does it make you show up? What's the original thought? So here's a really interesting thing that happened for me. Basically what came down to me was I'm afraid I'm going to be trapped by negative people. And this is probably true for a lot of you guys that are listening to this, where you live in, la la happy land, right? You're working with the law of attraction and you're in gratitude and love. And it really sucks when somebody shows up and they're like, well, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I have to deal with you, right? I mean, that's, network marketers, we have to deal with that because not all of our team members are vibing high like we are. So we have to deal with that. So then by doing that, what I came up with was, oh, wow. Okay, because I have a history in the past, which is no longer a part of my life, but I have a history in my past with panic disorder and anxiety. That's why I do the work that I do. And so there is a subconscious part of me that came up after clearing all that stuff that was like, oh, I'm actually beyond that. I got rid of that, right? That went away. It was kind of like, okay, that's gone. And the irony was that by me dreading complainers coming into my life, I avoided doing the activity, which made me feel negative and mentally complain about what a loser I am, which then creates the energy field, which then creates the challenging people and the complainers. Oh, right? It's like a whole cycle, right? I'm not doing the activity, so I feel like crap at the end of the day. I beat myself up. I complain about my inactivity and what a loser entrepreneur I am. I create a vibrational frequency of complaining. I go and add a team member, and guess what? They're a complainer, right? So this whole thing. So I started laughing at the paradigm that I'm creating. Okay, so by avoiding the thing, I'm actually creating what I'm going to have. But it went deeper. Once I got rid of that and I took that out, the awareness that I got in was, Because of my history many years ago of being too busy and getting sick and having anxiety and being negative, having a negative mind, right, going on, which I'm afraid of because the complainers are going to bring that in, that I might get sick. Like, what if I get sick? What if I get panic disorder? What if I get cancer? What if, blah, blah, blah. And I had the awareness that by not building and filling my calendar, I am actually preserving the space for me to be sick. Whoa. Take that in. Like, I feel like just this, right, as people hear this. I am preserving the space in my schedule to be sick, because if I'm sick, I know I need to be on YouTube. I need to be doing meditations. I need to be, crafting vision boards. I need, doing all my stuff, my manifesting stuff, right? That takes a lot of time when you're battling a big illness, right? So I'm preserving the space for that. Wow, that's fucked up. I need to clear that one. So I'm going to talk about that. How does that make me feel? Where is that hanging out in my body? How does that show up in my behaviors, right? I do the same process with everything. But then it was the whole fear of getting sick. I have to clear that. And then having the busyness of having thriving businesses, and with network marketing, having team members that I'm coaching and working with, having their needs impact and infiltrate into my time with my husband and my family, which is the most valuable thing of all. So why would I build a business where people can interrupt me and need to get into their back office when I'm about to sit down to this gorgeous meal I just made with my husband, right? Because that's, network marketers' life is a little bit different. We have a lot of freedom, and we also have a lot of interruptions, right? So we have to set boundaries around that. But anyway, so all of these awarenesses came up because I cleared that. The first question was, why am I not doing what I need to do to fill my calendar and have, my businesses packed? Why am I not fully committed to the activity? And it came up with, because I'm afraid I'm going to get complainers and I'm going to lose my freedom. I share this process with you because I think it shows you how we have certain consciousness here that we're kind of dealing with, right? And when we tap that consciousness away, something deeper, something way bigger suddenly pops up. I've never had that thought before, that by procrastinating on my reach outs and booking my calendar really full, I am actually on a subconscious level keeping myself safe by preserving the space for me to get sick. And that is an old story from when I had panic disorder. Wow. That's huge. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. Right below, if you have an epiphany in this conversation, because I think some of you will, because a lot of us are procrastinators, and make sure that if this resonated with you and that this helped you to, like me and do the, subscribe so that you get when I'm in here doing videos that you get tuned into those things. I always try to do tips. I always try to be very, very transformational when I show up. I'm going to transform you every time I show up, whether it's through a story of a transformation that happened with me or with somebody else, or it's a tool or whatever. So it's definitely a very good thing to hit the bell so that you get notifications when I'm showing up. So have a great day. Thanks so much for the time that you spent. This went a little longer than I would like to go, but I feel like that process is really valuable, and you can certainly kind of tap along and do that with me. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Again, this is Bambi Thompson, BambiThompson.com, and I am in service to your highest good and helping you unleash your inner badass.